Sandra stomped a foot. I see. You just don't want me to have him. Okay, do your damnedest. But I've got work to do. This has been a lovely little cat clawing, hasn't it? Let's have another one some day, and bring your friend. With a casual wave of her hand, Temple strolled away, and there flashed through Sandra's mind what Hilton had said so long ago, little more than a week out from Earth. And Temple Bells, of course, he had said. Don't fool yourself, chick. She's heavy artillery, and I mean heavy, believe me. So he had known all about Temple Bells all this time. Nevertheless, she took the first opportunity to get Hilton alone, and even before the first word, she forgot all about geodesic light lines and the full cooperation psychological approach. Aren't you the guy, she demanded, who was laughing his head off at the idea that the board and its propinquity could have any effect on him? Probably, more or less. What of it? This of it. You've fallen like a freshman for that. They should have christened her Brazen Bells. You're so right. I am. On what? The Brazen. I told you she was a potent force, a full-scale powerhouse, in sync and on the line, and I wasn't wrong. She's a damn female PhD, 2 or 3 times, and she knows all about slipsticks and isotopes, and she very definitely is not a cuddly little brunette. Remember? Sure, but what makes you think I'm in love with Temple Bells? What? Sandra tried to think of one bit of evidence, but could not. Why, she floundered, then came up with, why, everybody knows it. She says so herself. Did you ever hear her say it? Well, perhaps not in so many words, but she told me herself that you were going to be, and I know you are now. Your Esper sense of Indovex, no doubt? Hilton laughed, and Sandra went on fiercely. She wouldn't keep on acting the way she does if there weren't something to it. What brilliant reasoning. Try again, Sandy. That's sheer sophistry, and you know it. It isn't, and I don't. And even if, some day, I should find myself in love with her, or with one or both of the twins, or Stella, or Beverly, or you, or Sylvia, for that matter, what would it prove? Just that I was wrong, and I admit freely that I was wrong in scoffing at the propinquity. Wonderful stuff, that. You can see it working all over the ship. On me, even, in spite of my bragging. Without it, I'd never have known that you're a better, smarter operator than Eggy Eggleston ever was or ever can be. Partially mollified despite herself, and highly resentful of the fact, Sandra tried again. But don't you see, Jarve, that she's just simply playing you for a sucker, pulling the strings and watching you dance? Since he was sure in his own mind that she was speaking the exact truth, it took everything he had to keep from showing any sign of how much that truth had hurt. However, he made the grade. If that thought does anything for you, Sandy, he said steadily, keep right on thinking it. Thank God the field of thought is still free and open. Oh, you... Sandra gave up. She had shot her heaviest bolts. The last one, particularly, was so vicious that she had actually been afraid of what its consequences might be. And they had not even dented Hilton's armor. She hadn't even found out that he had any feeling whatever for Temple Bells, except as a component of his smoothly functioning scientific machine. Nor did she learn any more as time went on. Temple continued to play flawlessly the part of being, if not exactly hopefully, at least not entirely hopelessly, in love with Jarvis Hilton. Her conduct, which at first caused some surprise, many conversations, one of which has been reported verbatim, and no little speculation became comparatively unimportant as soon as it became evident that nothing would come of it. She apparently expected nothing. He was evidently not going to play footsie with or show any favoritism whatever toward any woman aboard the ship. Thus it was not surprising to anyone that, at an evening show, Temple sat beside Hilton, as close to him as she could get and as far away as possible from everyone else. "You can talk, can't you, Jarvis, without moving your lips and without anyone else hearing you?" "Of course," he replied, hiding his surprise. This was something completely new and completely unexpected, even from unpredictable Temple Bells. "I want to apologize, to explain, and to do anything I can to straighten out the mess I've made. It's true that I joined the project because I've loved you for years." "You have nothing to..." "Let me finish while I still have the courage." Only a slight tremor in her almost inaudible voice and the rigidity of the fist clenched in her lap betrayed the intensity of her emotion. "I thought I could handle it. Damn fool that I was. I thought I could handle anything. I was sure I could handle myself under any possible conditions. I was going to put just enough into the act to keep any of these other harpies from getting her hooks into you. But everything got away from me. Out here working with you every day, knowing better every day what you are, well, that Raggatello episode sunk me, and now I'm in 1,000 feet over my head. I hug my pillow at night, dreaming it's you, and the fact that you don't and can't love me is driving me mad. I can't stand it any longer. There's only one thing to do. Fire me first thing in the morning and send me back to Earth in a torp. You've plenty of ground." "Shut up." For seconds Hilton had been trying to break into her hopeless monotone. Finally he succeeded. "The trouble with you is, you know altogether too damn much that isn't so." He was barely able to keep his voice down and his eyes front. "What do you think I'm made of? Super refract? I thought the whole performance was an act, to prove you're a better man than I am. You talk about dreams. Good God, you don't know what dreams are. If you say one more word about quitting, I'll show you whether I love you or not. I'll squeeze you so hard it'll flatten you out flat." "Two can play at that game, sweetheart." Her nostrils flared slightly. Her fist clenched, if possible, a fraction tighter. And even in the distorted medium they were using for speech, she could not subdue completely her quick change into soaring, lilting buoyancy. "While you're doing that, I'll see how strong your ribs are. Oh, how this changes things. I've never been half as happy in my whole life as I am right now." "Maybe we can work it, if I can handle my end." "Why, of course you can. And happy dreams are nice, not horrible." "We'll make it, darling. Here's an imaginary kiss coming at you. Got it?" "Received in good order, thank you. Consumed with gusto and returned in kind." The show ended and the two strolled out of the room. She walked no closer to him than usual and no farther away from him. She did not touch him any oftener than she usually did, nor any whit more affectionately or possessively. And no watching eyes, not even the more than half hostile eyes of Sandra Cummings, or the sharply analytical eyes of Stella Wing, could detect any difference whatever in the relationship between worshipful adulteress and tolerantly understanding idol. The work, which had never moved at any very fast pace, went more and more slowly. 3 weeks crawled past. Most of the crews and all of the teams except the first were working on side issues, tasks which, while important in and of themselves, had very little to do with the project's main problem. Hilton, even without